Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we are having coffee on this beautiful Friday in October. Excuse me, it got down to 28 last night. They didn't predict that, but I did pull my fuchsias back towards the house. So, excuse me, I am hoping that I have saved them for just a little while longer. They're so pretty right now. In this more temperate weather, they do much better. So, how are you all doing? How is this tumultuous energy faring with you? Well, the guides want us to know and remember who you are. That is the theme for today's reading. Remember who you are. You are not just this human being here. You are this spirit, this energy in the world. And what you get to do is shift and change that world which you walk into. So, what does that look like? You are far more powerful than you understand just in your existence. This isn't a huge, oh, I have to do all of these things to be enough energy. Absolutely not. You need to know nothing more than what Kali, the Oracle card, wants to tell you. Kama of Kali, this beautiful, beautiful card. And what this card is telling you is that it's the Sanskrit word kama refers to the sweet stuff of life, pleasure, emotional fulfillment, and being completely present so that we can experience life through all senses. We all know that life isn't always easy, that there are ups and downs and ins and outs and times when we rather just not play. But we are all of the things, and relax into the presence of what is. Slow down. Just try to stop manipulating life for a few minutes and just allow the beauty of who you are. It requires to access all the beauty requires embodiment, a connection with the senses. Remember, we are body. We are spirit. It's just like when you're healing, many of you probably remember the old joke about the man standing on the mountaintop as the floodwaters rise, and a boat comes along and said, "Mister, I can help you." And he goes, "Oh no, God's going to save me." And then God sends a helicopter. "Oh no." And then some other vehicle, a hot air balloon. And he goes, "Oh no, God's going to save me." And of course the waters rise and he drowns. And he goes, "God, why didn't you save me?" And God said, "Well, I sent a boat, a helicopter, and a balloon, and you didn't take any of them." We need to be in the physical as well as the spiritual aspect. When you are working to heal something in your physical, you choose it in your spirit and your intention, but do the physical things that this body needs to do as well. Again, we are all things. It is time that we owned the vastness of our power. Remember who you are. You are all things. Step into all of the vastness that is you. Good morning, Julia. And so the Kama of Kali remind you of the beauty that lotus is, pushes up through the mud in order to become that gorgeous flower that it is. The next card that came up from Dreams of Gaia Tarot today is the Three of Earth. And this is the planting of seeds, the contemplating, the getting ready for the next step in your life, the next thing. It is time to work towards the future while living in the present. This is also, if you look at this, all the flowers blooming there, this very gentle green energy, which is healing energy, and that very cute little squirrel creature sitting there on the edge watching this person plant seeds. But look at the hand of that person. There is some blood in the hand. And that is the truth that doing and becoming who we are and what we meant to do in this world takes work. It takes effort. Again, in the healing aspect, I've listened to people beg God for healing and do nothing to help this physical body. It is so important that we remember we are physical as well as the spiritual, and we want to employ all of these things. I had a cousin a few years ago who was diagnosed very young. I think she was 37, 36 when she was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And she lived for 4 years. She did everything. She did surgery, she did chemo, she did oils, crystals, spiritual work. She worked from every aspect. And she was a warrior for sure. She had a difficult time leaving the planet when it was time, but she employed every aspect, not just chemo and surgery, not just altering her diet and working with essential oils and biofeedback. She put them all together, and that allowed her to stay around for her children for probably 3.5 more years. She was given 6 months at the beginning. And so employing everything that you are and putting the effort in is important. It's not just in that, when we garden, for most of the seeds we plant, we have to prepare the soil and put them in and cover them. Some seeds we can just spread on the soil. Petunias are like that. They just come back year after year all on their own. They fall onto the soil and they continue to produce flowers for years. One of my favorite flowers because of the lack of effort. But in our lives, who we are is integral to the community, this world that we live in, the connections that we have. Good morning, Diane. Good morning. She says good morning to Valerie, but I can't see Valerie yet. It's interesting. Facebook is an interesting creature. At any rate, we want to remember that we really have to employ the energy of everything that we are. The next card that came up was the 7 of Air in reverse. And I'm going to look that up again because I don't know these cards. I don't read tarot. I do jump off from Air. So 6, 7. This is all about spirituality, educate, don't indoctrinate, seek a kind approach. Are you willing to lose another for your beliefs? This is about temperance in our voices, temperance in what we're putting out into the world, balance. It means you need to, in reverse means you need to step back a little bit with your beliefs and step more into inclusive energies. Right now we're coming up to an election that is quite tumultuous, lots of opinions about that. The truth is that when you shout out your opinion and you scream it in someone's face, no one is going to listen. It's the same, with our education system. It is important that we educate our children, not indoctrinate our children with the beliefs of any one tenet. We want our children to be able to think. And I think that was the biggest thing I learned in college was that I didn't know how to think. I could memorize and regurgitate every day, but I didn't know how to think. And after I stayed out a year and then went back, I learned how to conceptualize and think. I don't know why. I don't know what happened during that year, but we want to make sure that if we feel a certain intensity of belief about anything, that we put it out there with balance and with love for another to take it, look at it, take from it what resonates with them, and leave the rest. Right now, if I don't speak much politically on my page, because on my Facebook feed, because I do not want that kind of crap coming back. I don't want to hear any of it. I get enough of it with the lovely man I live with because he's quite a newsophile. But if someone screams out to me or lashes out that, how could you possibly believe? We had a person that I interacted with recently that is very staunch in their belief. And someone posted something they didn't agree with, and they just went at that person. And that person just shut them down and blocked them. That's not a way to get your message across. compassion and love and acceptance. You put it out there, and they're going to take the parts of them that do resonate. If you shove something down someone's throat, they're not willingly going to swallow it. The moment you quit shoving it, they're going to spit it back up and get rid of it, and they are never going to get close enough to you again to have you do that to them. If you really want to make a change, you must do it with compassion, with love, with gentleness. And Archangel Uriel came through with a message this morning that I put on TikTok. Well, I was endeavoring to do that, but ran out of time because TikTok and I don't know how to play together very well. So it takes me a little bit longer. About the need for compassion. Compassion provides allowance for the experience of others, the life others have led that is very different from our life, and allows their belief systems to be okay for them. And, we have different avenues to make the changes in our country by voting that we need to make. But if you slam someone else, block someone because they don't believe the way you do, now certainly if they're raining on you, block them. But if they just have different beliefs, allow them to express them. They may make a change in your belief system to soften it, to see how, to understand more how they could believe differently than you. The next card that came up was the Six of Earth. And this is a very, very grounded card. Of course, it is an earth card. But this creature is very much a work creature. This is a do creature. Responsibility, lead by example, time of sharing. And this came up in the upright position. Teach by word and deed, lead by example. We want to make a change in the world. We certainly, I can say pretty much everybody out there does not want the world to be doing what it's doing right now. And we don't want to keep continuing on with what the world has been doing for the millennia. And so the way to do that is, what would you rather have in this world? Most of us would rather have more peace, more ease, more joy, more cooperation. And we must lead by that. It's just, it's the same. Remember, as kids, most of us at some point had a parent that said, don't do as I do, do as I say. That's about the least effective way to parent. And that is certainly the least effective way to make the change in the world that you want. We want to become what we want to put out in the world. And the very scientific reason is that we're sharing energy with everyone. So when we endeavor to become more love, more peace, more joy, that is what the energy is that we put out into the world. And the law of energy says it goes out continuously. It cannot be destroyed or created. And so we send it out, and those who can receive that energy, good morning, Jean, receive it. Those who cannot, move away. It's not our purview to choose what people do with it. It is our call to put it out and allow others to make a choice for themselves. And then the last card that came up this morning is the Sage, the knower, the one who is a continual learner. And the Sage basic message is, when it appears in your reading, it represents the sharing of knowledge and communication. And again, if we do that from a place of compassion and gentleness, that is an effective way to get your message across. It is not nearly as effective as, well, I can tell you for sure, screaming your message in someone's face or lashing out at them because they believe differently than you is never going to get that message to them that you want to get to them. It will always stop the communication when you're overpowering and yelling at someone. And so ask the universe, creator, the great I am, the central sun, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, whoever you believe in, to give you that awareness of when you are not living what it is you desire to create in the world. And then ask for the direction of how you can be more of what you want to bring into the world and less of what you don't. Focusing on everything that is bad in the world, what you think is bad in any candidate, all of that is wasted energy. Focus more on what you desire the world to be. And that is what we as a collective will begin to create more. Right now, as a collective, we're creating a great deal of fear, division, reactivity, anger, and hatred. And this election is bringing so much of that up. One candidate says something and the other party, people in that party run with that and tell everybody how awful that candidate is because they said this. And then the other party does the same thing. And I can guarantee you on Facebook espousing all your beliefs are not going to change anyone's mind. Particularly now at this point in the election is set in your mind. Who you're going to vote for is set. And all you're going to do is alienate people and create more dissonance, disrespect, anger, reactivity, and hatred in the world. So what do you truly want to create? Ask Archangel Michael to cut the cords to all the reactivity that has been triggered in you. And it is calculated. I can tell you that for sure. Those powers that be, those forces, that cabal that is ruling the world, there are very few up there in that top echelon that are running it all. They are out there. They want us separated. They want us divided. They want us hating one another. There are some very lovely people out there that believe totally differently than you do. But if we give each other a chance, we can see the love, we can see those things that attract us in them. And those things that keep us separate will fall away. Julia says, I appreciate the Petunia reference. My grandmothers have been on my mind, and one gave me the nickname Petunia even before I was born. When you spoke the flower's name, it felt like confirmation. I had a wonderful, surprising experience with my sister this week by just allowing her to be and do herself. That's awesome, Diane. Yeah, it really is important and effective for us to allow others their truth. That doesn't mean we have to agree with that truth. It is okay. It used to be okay. Well, kind of. People said it used to be okay for us to speak about politics and not be at one another's throat. I'm sorry, that really is not true. We grew up being told you don't speak about politics or religion or money. So it's never been an easy subject matter. This is new ground that we are creating where we can be in one another's presence, care about one another, work together, and allow differences in beliefs to be okay. That is our choice. We make a choice every day. What are you choosing? Are you choosing to be in peace? Are you choosing to be in reactivity? Because whatever you're choosing to be in is what you're sharing with the world and what you're creating more of. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle.